Now when you're buying live rock, the first consideration is whether you buy cured rock or non-cured rock. So in general, uncured rock will look like this. It's often got a whole lot of growth on it. Then cured rock will very typically look like this, and that means that it's been in an aquarium for a period of time and very much often lost a lot of the growth that's all over it. Now the advantage of cured rock, besides the fact that it initially looks better, is that you're going to import more microorganisms into the aquarium. Now whether that makes any difference in 3 months is completely debatable, because a lot of the time when you do put the cured rock into the aquarium, you'll get a fairly substantial die-off, and in 3 months time you may be in exactly the same circumstance. So the thing that counts more than anything else is the shape of the rock, because what's in the rock and what's on the rock is inevitably over time going to change, and it is going to reflect the conditions that you're offering your system. So if you get cured rock, then over time the white rock will change colour. If you get uncured rock, then over time the rock will change colour, and the colour that it changes to is going to totally reflect the chemistry of your water. So ultimately, you first put the rock in, it's probably going to be a colour like this, then it's going to die off, may even become a colour like that, then it will generally become light brown, because the first phase that you're going to go through is usually going to be a diatom phase. Diatom feeds off silicates. Silicates are in natural seawater, silicates are in tap water. If you did use RO water, you may have less silicates, so therefore the diatom phase may be less. The advantages of RO become substantial as the tank is established. It is debatable how beneficial RO is when you're curing the rock itself, because of how much stuff comes off the rock in the first place. So then once you get through your silicate phase, silicates are very easy to remove using media such as phosphate and cephalophos and stuff like that will suck silicates out of the water. Then once your silicate level decreases and your phosphates start to increase, you start to get the green algae, and that's the second phase. There are many snails, abalones, fish that enjoy eating it, so starting to put some herbivores and cleanup crew in the aquarium is definitely going to help, and also phosphate removers. So if you started with phosphate removers like cephalophos, which are going to strip out your phosphates, then that's going to help control this green algae phase. Then once your green algae phase is under control, because you've been using phosphate removers, then you start to get this algae here, which is the pink algae, and that's the coralline algae, and that's the one you want. And the way that you get the pink algae is by making sure that you're using a good buffer and a good calcium supplement and a magnesium supplement. So the calcium carbonate and magnesium is what gives you this lovely rich coralline algae. That's providing that your phosphates and nitrates are under control. So another thing you can use to keep your phosphates and nitrates under control is products like NPX or NOPOX, and then you can also add something like a biopellet reactor. And what the biopellet does is, over a long period of time, encourages the growth of denitrifying and dephosphate bacteria, and that all helps you get this lovely rich coralline growth. So this aquarium that you're looking at right now is relatively new, so there's actually not a whole lot of coralline growth in here yet, and this aquarium is newer again, so this one hasn't got a whole lot of coralline growth either. So once again, as the tank matures, we'll start seeing more of that lovely rich coralline, and that's providing our water quality is correct. If our water quality is incorrect, we'll either get that yucky green, which will be because we've got too much phosphate, or we'll get the light brown, almost what's on that substrate there, and that's because there's too much silicate in the water. So once again, the main consideration that I believe you should have when buying live rock is the shape of the rock, because everything else over time will change. The microorganism culture in the aquarium will change, the types of algae that grow on the rock will change, but ultimately the shape is the only thing that you're always going to have. That was a good ending.